Hi, welcome to Lenoir-Rhyne University's webcast. I'm Kate.
And I'm Charlie. Oh.
My major is public relations with a minor in visual arts.
And I'm an international business and human community service double major.
And I'm from Jackson, Michigan, originally.
And I'm from Tampa, Florida.
So for those that are viewing that don't know, Lenoir-Rhyne's in Hickory, North Carolina. Could y'all maybe talk a little bit about Hickory for those that aren't familiar with it?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Hickory is within the western part of North Carolina. And we are a smaller city, but we have a lot of options that give college students a way to branch out. For example, we are looking at, let's say, about 25,000 people within Hickory. And within an hour, you have access to Asheville and Charlotte, North Carolina, which give you access to so much culture that North Carolina is known for.
Yeah, and if you travel like 45 minutes up to Boone, where App State is, you have the mountains, you have camping up there. So, I mean, I like to go hiking, so I always go up there. And then during the winter, you can go skiing or snowboarding, whatever you want. So, I mean, we have a lot of options of things to do around Hickory.
Also, locally, we have a beautiful downtown that gives you access to local restaurants, local club. You're able to go enjoy local live music. We have a $3 movie theater that student organizations on campus sometimes, about once a month, have a free movie night where you just show your LRID and you go in and have a choice of about 5 movies that you get to watch for free.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think covered it.
So now that we've touched base on Hickory as a city, let's talk about the campus of Lenoir-Rhyne. If somebody's never been here, never heard of it before, maybe talk about a little bit about the size, maybe class structure, things like that.
All right, so we're pretty small. We have about 1,600 undergrads. So, I mean, right now I'm a senior, so a lot of my classes, I have maybe 10 people in there, if that. So, I mean, it's very small. I mean, you get to know your professor really well. Like, for instance, I have all my professors, like, in my phone. If I'm not going to be there or I have a question about homework, I just text them or call them, and they totally help me out. And also, it's really awesome, going by everyone and walking by students and knowing everyone, almost everyone.
For me, I would just like to start off by saying we have the world's largest Martin Luther statue. Obviously, a winning point right there. But
Don't forget about the saxophone.
and the saxophone statue. But on a more serious note, being a double major, I have to jump into my core classes much sooner than most students on our campus. And it's really nice because the professors understand the weight that's on my shoulders with having to balance both of these majors. And I have phone numbers so that if I'm worried about a project, I don't have to email, I don't have to worry about the next class. I can text them and ask them, hey, is this what I need to do? My class sizes are small. The most I have is 30, which is the least that I ever had in high school, and my smallest is 8. So it really gives me a personal relationship with my professor and allows me to get to know them and the material on a much deeper level.
So we talked a little bit about classes. What about campus life? So first maybe talk about the dorms a little bit, what your experience has been there.
Well, I'm an RA in one of the freshman dorms this year, and our campus life really stems from our dorms. We have 2 freshman dorms on campus, and then we have 3 upperclassmen options. Everything from suite style to, basic room and board that you would think of with sharing a bathroom with your 2 suite mates. And it's really nice being in a freshman dorm because everyone is in this together. You're a freshman, you're coming in, even if you live in Hickory, it's your first time away from home. And we all become friends. That first weekend, magic really happens on campus, and we have the campus life start. And the clubs come out, and they have an organization fair saying, hey, join this, and you get a free t-shirt. and then everyone gets hooked in, and it's a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I mean, from freshman year, I've met most of my friends in the dorms, so I have remained friends with the people that I have lived with since freshman year. I went from there to what it's called Price Village, and that's kind of like a townhouse feel. You have rooms downstairs, rooms upstairs, but all together you share this house with six or more people. And then I went on to a suite style, and that is a little bit smaller, but I was able to share it with three other girls. And so having that, I guess, bond with people on campus really helps, I guess, create memories and to be on campus with people at nights as well.
And when there is an issue, whether it's in the dorm or something on campus or if it's your personal life, the RA, which is in every dorm we have, is always there to answer any questions you have. Make sure that you feel at home. I make sure I set an hour or two a day with my door open so my residents know they can come and ask me any questions. And there's always someone on duty. There's always access to the RA duty phone. So if you ever need someone to talk to, what from a personal issue to a roommate problem, we're always there and willing to listen and help.
So you mentioned your roommates. What's the structure there as far as kind of setting you up with a roommate if you came and didn't know who you're going to room with? Could you speak to kind of that process a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a freshman, they had questionnaires. I don't know if it's still set up like
It
that.
was the same way for me.
Okay, so there's questionnaires that you answer questions such as, do you stay up late at night? I think it was like, are you outgoing or something along those lines? And they kind of pair you with somebody that they think would best fit you.
And you also, being in that room, you really do create a deep friendship with with your roommate. Even though that questionnaire can be vague, that first weekend together, you guys go out and you go experience the organization fair, you go explore campus together, and you really do create that bond. You get to share finding classes, your first day of class, and even though there are cultural differences, being at LR together as freshmen really does create a friendship that you can't find anywhere else.
What about bringing a car as a freshman? Are you allowed to do that?
Oh yeah, they get their own parking lot. I think it's $50 to get a pass for the whole year.
For me, last year I was not able to have a car because, unfortunately, my car was a little too old to make the drive up. So I made friends with not just my roommate, but with friends in the hall. And I was like, "Hey, you're going to Walmart? Great! I have 5 other places to go. Let's go!" So I got rides from everyone else. Some of the stores were easy to access through bike. We also have the Greenway bus system that you can use to get over to Walmart and other places in Hickory. And this year the price actually went down, and we're at $40 for a parking ticket, or not ticket.
Is it $4?
It is $40 this year
Okay.
for us to get a car on campus. And I actually have one this year, and it does make life a little bit easier, but it also allowed me to make more friends because people use my car all the time now.
Very good. Let's talk about dining options on campus, cafeteria, other options that you might be able to take advantage of.
Subway. We just got Subway this year, and it is probably one of the greatest things that's ever happened in my life. We have our cafeteria, which is where your normal dining that you would expect at home to be. You can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. But when you don't want to eat at the caf or you ran out of time, we have other options on campus. As I mentioned, Subway, you have the Bears Lair and the Cubs Pub. And the Bears Lair is like a burger shack, chicken tenders, and the Cubs Pub is where like our own little bistro. And it's a place that you can get meal equivalency. So instead of going into the caf for breakfast, you can go over to the Bears Lair and get yourself a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant and have that count as your breakfast.
I want to talk a little bit about maybe some of the things on campus that you're involved in. I know that you mentioned some of them earlier, and then just things in general that are available for students to get involved in.
Okay, so I'm involved in a newspaper, and if you come to LR, you should be part of it. Yes, you should. As well, I was a track runner for 3 years, but so being part of that kind of atmosphere really helped me make friends, especially since I was from Michigan. I didn't know anyone here, so clubs and organizations are huge here. If you want to get involved, there are tons of organizations, and you can even make your own one if you want to.
Me personally, I am the co-president of the debate team, president of campus activities board. I'm involved in giving tours on campus, and back in high school, I wasn't really involved much. So I promised myself that wherever I went, I would get involved because I want to know the people on our campus. I want to make a difference. And being in a club, whether you're president to just a member, you have access to changing the environment that you are learning in. Through the debate team, I have learned how to create an argument that brings a higher level of excellence to my papers. Being through campus activities board, I've learned how to put together a program on our campus, how to network, all these different things that you don't necessarily learn in the classroom. You get to learn through organizations that you're a part of on campus, and you really find your niche and your passion through these organizations.
Yeah, speaking to that, I mean, I'm part of the newspaper, and my major is public relations, so having the in-classroom experience and then having somewhat of an outside classroom experience really helps you learn that much more.
So both of y'all talked about kind of the going through the transitional phase as far as coming from high school to college and the resources that were available there. Why don't you get you to talk a little bit about the freshman orientation process, kind of how that's set up and if it was beneficial?
Oh, well, I had an orientation last year, and it was a blast, to be honest. I'm very much an extrovert, so coming in, all these new faces, the freshman class all in one place. We broke off into groups, and these were our FYE or first year experience classmates, and we were really focusing on team building activities, getting to know one another, our history and our narrative, because that's important and is valued at LR, is who you are as a person rather than just, hey, you're student number 66673 and you're paying us tuition. You're Charlie McBurney, and we want to know what we can do to further your education and further your being. And that's what orientation is about, is getting to know not just the freshman class, but also the upper class and the professors so that you are feeling comfortable and ready to go on the first day of class.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably attest to this. Coming to LR, not knowing anyone, and only having the freshmen there was really helpful because no one else knew anyone, so everyone was scared together. So we were all just scared running around campus doing activities, and it was awesome. And I met so many people that first weekend, and I have stuck with them. And even if I don't hang out with them regularly, I still, talk with them. And so that weekend really was a starting point in what college was going to be for me. We do activities such as go to Cool Park, and it's like this water park, and it's a lot of fun. We do community outreach events, so we're not only learning about LR, but we're learning about Hickory, which I think is really important because I had no idea how to get around Hickory or what was in Hickory, and so doing activities to kind of see what Hickory was all about was really beneficial as well.
I think there might be some folks maybe listening that are interested in athletics, two sides of that going, either participating or just observing kind of a campus life aspect. Could y'all touch on that kind of briefly as far as school spirit and things like that go?
Football games are a big deal on our campus.
We have
Well,
playoff games this weekend.
yes, we do, and we're gonna win. By the
Well,
way, I'm already
It's not next
predicting
weekend.
it.
It's the following weekend.
We're still gonna win.
Yes.
And our basketball team won last night. Go LR Sports! But it's a big deal on our campus. Even though we're small and we're a Division II school, we take a lot of pride in our athletics and being able to say, look, we're academics and we're also able to perform on the field and be conference champions twice in a row with our football team and our women's soccer team and all these other sports that don't just participate and be a part of campus life. They excel and have LR's name recognized outside of the state as being a force to be reckoned with in athletics.
Yeah, being an athlete, I mean, it's a totally different, thing. It's, going from high school athletics to college athletics is totally different. But athletics is huge here. I think, the camaraderie that we have, the spirit that we have, all just everyone kind of embodies that.
What about finding a job around here, either on campus or off? Have either of you had experience with that, or know someone that's doing that? Are they available?
I personally have not been able to find a job on campus, but a lot of my friends work at the library. You can work within the cafeteria. You're able a bookstore, but even outside of campus, we have so many restaurants that you can work at. I got friends who work at Texas Roadhouse, and the mall is a huge opportunity, especially if you have worked at retail at home. I know American Eagle is a very popular store to work at, and a lot of seasonal jobs as well, especially this time of year, starting around October, that allow us to, I find work de-stressors, so going into final exams, having somewhere to go off campus and do work is nice for the wallet and nice for yourself.
Yeah. I have had a job on campus actually right now in the speech lab, and basically, different things like people come in and ask for help for a speech that they're writing or giving in any class, and we'll help them. And then also, I just started a job in the marketing department here, and that has really helped me, getting the step in the door of, real life experience. So definitely, LR is willing to work with you for that.
So glad that you mentioned the speech lab, and I know there are some other resources available if students need help with classes. Could you maybe touch on that a little bit more, and what services are available for students who need help?
Yeah, there's a whole learning commons up on the second floor in the library. There's the speech lab where I work. Next door there's the math lab, and then there's a computer lab that will help you, like if you're a computer science major or IT major, they'll do things like HTML, Java, etc. And then there's also a writing center that will help you write your papers or edit them.
Also, if you are struggling in any class or just want to bounce ideas off of somebody, you can talk to someone in the Learning Commons about getting a tutor for you. We have the speech and the math lab and computer lab and writing lab because those are always in demand. But say in astronomy, if you can't figure out why galaxies are formed and you keep getting that wrong on tests, you can go over to Learning Commons and ask for a tutor in astronomy, and they will get you a tutor, and it's no charge to you at all. It's a part of tuition, and it's a part of making sure that you can excel as a student on our campus.
So now that you mentioned earlier kind of interaction with the professors, what's the class registration process like? Do you have someone that's aiding in that? Kind of how does that work?
You first go to your advisors, which they set up this kind of advisory week, which then you go to individually. You will talk to your advisor. You'll set up your schedule. They'll tell you, you should take this class instead of that class, or maybe you should take this class, or what about this other class. So they're going to help you build your schedule on a one-to-one basis, and then they will open you up to be able to actually register. And freshmen or senior, junior, sophomore, and freshman all register on different days. So seniors will go first, and then the next day juniors, and so on and so forth. So just to make sure, the upperclassmen get their classes that they actually need right away first. And you get up at, 7 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, it's early.
It's pretty early, but all you have to do is click a button if you put all your classes into a cart. So usually the night before, I put my computer up next to my bed,
Yep.
have the screen up, and so I just click it, go back to bed, and everything's good.
Also, in your first year experience course, your professor will go through with you, and you will personally make your schedule that will allow you to ask questions on, I don't know how the courses work, what is the description for this course, and your professor will go step by step with you in planning your schedule for the first 2 times, and then you have your advisor on top of that. You're going to have upperclassmen friends. So there's a large network for you to tap into outside of your advisor, and within speaking with your advisor, you're able to plan out your 4 years here at Lenoir-Rhyne so that you graduate on time. You're taking classes that not only you need, but those that you're interested in, so that you could potentially find something that you want to double major in, that you want to minor in, or just take classes passively because you find an interest.
So sticking kind of with courses and majors, what if someone wanted to double major or minor? Is that possible at LR? What's kind of the structure there?
It's very possible. I mean, we're both doing it. I have a minor and he has a major, so.
Yeah. Also, I had an idea of wanting to have an entrepreneurship major on campus. So I double majored in international business and human community service to try and get me in touch with a little bit of both. And through showing interest with my professors, we're actually having the major created this time next year, and there will be business and social entrepreneurship. So you have the ability to have a say in what type of education you want on this campus, and you can also shape your learning experience to best fit you.
What about study abroad? Is that something that's an option? Are students participating in that on campus?
Oh yeah, we have an office for study abroad, and students. I personally have never done this, but I have somebody that's in my major that's going to London next semester, and she's super excited. But basically, that pairs up with your tuition, so basically you get whatever you pay for LR, you're going to pay for if you go across to wherever you want. There's tons of places that you can go to. It sounds like a lot of fun.
I went to South Korea over the summer through our ISEP program, and I started talking to our advisor around this time last year and said, I want to go away. I want to explore the world. I want to do mission work one day. Where can I go to do this? And we looked literally all over the world, through all of Europe, Africa, South America, and we ended up finding South Korea. And I was there for a month. I took 6 credit hours, which were used towards my major, and I got to have a wonderful cultural experience that really broadened my horizon on what the world has to offer. And usually you don't think about that in those opportunities being at a smaller university. But I've come to learn with friends who are at larger universities that it's much harder to have these opportunities because you don't know who to talk to. It seems impossible and daunting, but I was able to have one-on-one conversations with Dr. Kirkman, and he was always on call when I needed him and I had a question on my application, and we were able to get everything up to date, signed off, and I was able to make this happen very stress-free.
So for both of you being from out of state, not from originally from here, how easy was it to adjust whenever you got here? I know that you talked a little bit about the resources, but if you had anything else to add about that.
Coming from Florida, I just want to start off with saying it's really nice to have winter. It's nice having something that gets a little colder than 50 degrees. Now, you're from where it actually has winter, so We're polar opposites here, but I like being able to see the leaves change, and so that's reassuring for me. Is just it's a beautiful place to be, and coming up here, the support network that I had with my RA, the friends that I made over that first weekend and through orientation, um, professors on campus, being involved, really not took away homesickness, but allowed me to create a life on campus and enjoy my time here rather than being in my room and just wishing I could be home and see my friends and family again. I just I did what college is about. I created my narrative and who I am, and it allowed me to flourish.
Yeah, definitely. Coming down here from Michigan, I do not like the winter, but it's so much nicer here. Um, I didn't know anyone, so that was really hard. And to go from high school having a really large group of friends that, had always been there for me was really hard to come down and know that no one knew me and I just didn't have anyone. But I got involved really quickly. I, forced myself. It's bad to say, but I would stand outside someone's door and be like, "Hey, you need to go in there and say hello." So I mean, little things like that. You have to go and step outside of your comfort zone in college. It's totally different from high school, but after doing that, it's been the best experience ever. I love it here. I love, being away for most of the year from Michigan, not only because it's nicer here, but just in other aspects as well. I've grown as a person so much over these past 4 years that I wouldn't trade for anything.
So, starting to wrap up here, one question I did want to ask, why did y'all choose, why Lenoir-Rhyne? I'm assuming that there were other options on the table. Why did you choose to come here?
For me, my best friend and I, we lived in Fort Myers area, and we split apart when we were in elementary school. And he contacted me his freshman year and said, "Hey, I'm at Lenoir-Rhyne University. Come on up." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great, but it's a private Lutheran out-of-state university, and I'm not exactly Bill Gates." So, so I applied just for the heck of it, and I was accepted. Great. Again, how am I going to pay for this? So, just wanted to see what the school was like. Came up one summer, took a tour, fell in love with the place, and I realized I had to make it happen. So we called the university, looked at financial aid options, and I was invited to something called, oh gosh, what's it called? Scholarship Day. The words escape me. You wonder how I got there. But through Scholarship Day, it allows you to not necessarily compete, but explain why you want to come to Lenoir-Rhyne. You write an essay, you have an interview with 8 other students, and they ask you questions not of what's the square root of 73 and then turn that into calculus. It's who are you? What do you want to do with your life? And how do you plan to do that? And through different scholarships that I was awarded and financial aid, I was able to come to Lenoir-Rhyne, and it's just been the greatest experience of my life, and being able to realize I can live on my own, I can take 19 credit hours and be okay, I can make friends, I can network, I can be a functioning adult, and I don't have to have my parents nearby holding my hand and pushing me out the door.
Yeah, I found out about LR because my mom went here, and she, I'd always had good stories about LR, so when it came my time to start looking, I immediately said, "Let's go look at your school, Mom." And so we came down here, and I, immediately fell in love with the place. The people were amazing. Being from up north, the southern culture, it really intrigues me. I mean, it's totally different down here. If anyone has ever seen what the north is like, so it's definitely been really awesome. It is a lot of money to go here, but I was part of the scholarship day. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the interview since it snowed like 2 inches here and the whole place was shut down that year. But being, getting that scholarship and getting other scholarships that the school offers, it's totally doable. I mean, they will work they will work with you until you can come here. It's definitely doable for anyone that doesn't think that it is.
Kind of as a last question to wrap up, what advice would you have for any high school students that are listening in as a way kind of to set themselves up for success, whether it's here or wherever they end up attending?
One thing that I would say is there is literally every door open to you right now. Every year that you are in school, doors start closing. The minute you graduate, more doors start closing. And eventually, we get locked into life, and no matter happy or not, that's where you are. So, as of right now, don't be timid, don't be shy and afraid of what could happen. Embrace it, because this is your time to make who you are. This is the time you get to define who you're going to be 20 years from now. And at Lenoir-Rhyne, and I'm sure any other institution, but I know from my experience here, they will open every door for you, and you can experience them all and decide for yourself who you want to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is your time, even though it sounds bad, to be selfish. Don't do what your friends are doing, or your boyfriend or girlfriend. Don't follow them. It's time for you and what's best for you. So I mean, for me, it was to leave Michigan and to go and discover something new. It may be to come here, it may be to go somewhere else, but you need to just definitely sit down with yourself and be real with yourself. Do you want to go to this place because you want to, or because your parents want to? I mean, it's time for you to really realize that, and that was the hardest part for me, because I know my friends and family were really confused that I wanted to go so far away from home, but this is something that I couldn't have gotten if I had stayed back in Michigan.
We've covered a lot of information today. Hopefully, it's been helpful for those that have tuned in. So I think this is going to conclude our time together. Everybody have a good day.